The security strategy for society describes the concept for comprehensive security, which forms the foundation for resilience in Finnish society. It provides a common framework for implementing comprehensive security between the international, national, regional, local, and individual levels. This is the fifth update of the concept since the first publication of Strategy for Safeguarding Vital Functions of Society in 2003. The security strategy for society describes the concept for comprehensive security. In the concept for comprehensive security, the vital functions of society are taken care of in collaboration between the authorities, business community, organizations, and citizens in all circumstances and at all levels of society. The concept for comprehensive security forms the foundation of resilience in Finnish society. The basis is the arrangements and legislation in normal conditions. The objective of the strategy is to provide all actors with a common framework for implementing comprehensive security from their perspectives. In the concept for comprehensive security, the vital functions of society are taken care of in collaboration between the authorities, business community, organizations, and citizens in all circumstances and at all levels of society. The general obligation of the public administration to be prepared to carry out its duties in emergency conditions is also laid down in the Emergency Powers Act, Section 12. In addition, sector-specific legislation includes several provisions that complement or are comparable to the preparedness obligation of the Emergency Powers Act and target actors in different sectors of society. Correspondingly, in many business sectors, statutory requirements have been set for businesses to ensure the continuity of their operations in all circumstances. Business community own and operate the majority of the infrastructure, services, and production that are critical for security in society. The strategy and the concept for comprehensive security aim to secure the continuity of vital functions of society in all situations. The highly interdependent vital functions of society are presented in the security strategy for society in the shape of a diamond. The diamond shape illustrates the interconnections and strong interdependencies between the vital functions. In the center of the diamond, the important role of individuals for the security of society is highlighted. The diamond of vital functions of society is formed by leadership, a function that enables actors to effectively coordinate and implement measures related to preparedness and response. Effective management of disruptions and crises requires clarity in leadership. International and EU activities. Finland operates in a networked world in which security measures are also inevitably intertwined with a broader international context. The European Union is Finland's most important political and economic frame of reference and community of values. Defense capability, which is maintained to deter the use of military force and the threat thereof. If necessary, military threats against Finland will be countered by using military force jointly with NATO allies. Internal security, which refers to the capability to prevent criminal activities, accidents, environmental damage, and other similar threats targeting Finland and its population, as well as to manage their consequences. Economy, infrastructure, and security of supply. Securing these provides the funding and other resources necessary to maintain vital functions. This includes the securing of domestic and international infrastructure, organizations, structures, services, and processes essential for vital functions. Functional capacity of the population and services, which encompasses the physical, psychological, social, and ethical elements. The population's functional capacity and well-being are secured by maintaining the central basic services which promote the population's ability to cope independently in all circumstances. Psychological resilience, which refers to the ability of individuals, communities, and society to withstand the stress caused by crisis situations and to recover from their impacts. These functions are secured against threats and risks. Threats to the security of society may appear independently, simultaneously, or consecutively, or they may be coordinated, such as hybrid threats. The threats and their changes are often unpredictable, cross-border, rapid, and variable in terms of their duration, impacts, and scope. There are considerable differences in the predictability of threats. The National Risk Assessment is the foundation of preparedness outlined in the Security Strategy for Society. Risk assessments prepared by the EU and NATO must also be applied. In addition to national and regional risk assessments, local as well as sector and function-specific risk assessments are important. Realized threats cause disruptions and crises. Disruptions are events or situations which do not cause long-term or significant harmful impacts on society's operating conditions. Disruptions can usually be anticipated, although their timing, type, and impact cannot be accurately predicted. They can often be resolved by adhering to pre-prepared plans. They may be, for example, interruptions in water supply, temporary interruptions in payment transactions, or brief power outages. Crises are abnormal or exceptional events or situations that threaten the functions or existence of society as a whole. Crises are typically one-off and rare events or situations which often extend across organizational, geographical, and sectoral borders. They may be actively aggravated, either from within society or through external hostile influencing. They can rarely be resolved by means of predefined operating methods and plans alone, but require proactivity and flexibility. Examples of crises include the use of military force and a pandemic. The most serious crises or disruptions may require the declaration of a state of emergency as referred to in the Emergency Powers Act, in which additional powers may be invoked for authorities. The vital functions of society are protected against disruptions and crises through strategic tasks. The strategic tasks are based on legislation, confirmed by agreements, and complemented by voluntary activities, which aim to secure the vital functions of society. Carrying out the tasks in all security situations requires both preparedness and response. In other words, measures to respond to threats. Responsible ministries have been assigned to the tasks. The first assigned ministry is in charge of coordination related to the task and compiles reports with the support of other actors. There are a total of 56 strategic tasks divided into 7 categories: leadership, international and EU activities, defense capability, internal security, economy, infrastructure, and security of supply, functional capacity of the population and services, psychological resilience. Carrying out the tasks in all security situations requires both preparedness and response measures. Preparedness is an ongoing activity that comprehensively considers threats. The goal is to achieve readiness to act. The goal of preparedness is to reduce the likelihood of threats realizing, promote readiness to face threats, and create the prerequisites for response. Preparedness by the authorities and other actors in public administration alone is insufficient to safeguard the vital functions of society. For preparedness to be effective, the participation of society as a whole is required. Everyone is also responsible, according to their abilities, for their own preparedness. Response is limited in duration, focuses on the threats at hand at any given time, and applies the capability achieved through preparedness. The goal of response is to minimize the impact of realized threats, promote the recovery of the vital functions of society, and provide grounds for preparedness. Contingency plans that provide grounds for preparedness are drawn up to implement response. It is not always possible to prepare for each situation separately. The emphasis is therefore on general resilience built through long-term preparedness. Preparedness is managed to achieve readiness, and the goal of response management is to achieve the desired impacts. The complexity and concurrence of crises requires the capacity to carry out simultaneous preparedness and response. Effective leadership must be based on the same operating methods, principles, and structures in all situations. An essential aspect of preparedness is the acquisition and maintenance of the resources required by the task. A sufficient level of preparedness requires addressing at least the following areas: the operating methods that steer the use of resources to achieve the goals, the organization in which the resources are organized as required by the task, Training that develops the competence required by the task. The material with which actors are equipped. Leadership to steer the activities to achieve objectives. Sufficient personnel with appropriate competence. Infrastructure that supports the implementation of the task. Information needed for the activities. Preparedness is implemented by coordinating all these together with the goal to produce readiness. Exercises bring together different areas of capability and hone their collaboration to reach the collective goals. This also increases mutual trust and credibility by demonstrating the capacity to carry out the planned task. Joint exercises also help identify the links and interfaces between activities, areas in need of development in the preparedness plans, and shortcomings in the resources required for their implementation. The concept of comprehensive security covers all sectors and levels of activity in society. All actors in society participate in the safeguarding of vital functions together. Collaboration extends from local to international level. Individuals are key actors in comprehensive security. Information exchange, setting of shared objectives, and a commitment to collaboration between the international, national, regional, local, and individual levels build a foundation for security in society. The government and ministries are in charge of the preparation of legislation, the general policies, resource allocation, operating principles, strategic steering, preparedness and response, as well as collaboration. Each ministry manages, supervises, and coordinates, and steers preparedness in their respective sectors. Businesses produce a significant share of the services related to the vital functions of society. The majority of society's critical functions are privately owned. It is important to secure the continuity of the business community. In addition to organizations and associations, the comprehensive security actors of civil society include social networks, nonprofit organizations, and social movements that are based on the voluntary participation of people. Civil society actors support individuals and communities in their preparedness for and response to disruptions and crises. At the same time, they strengthen the psychological resilience of people. Individuals' functional capacity, as well as knowledge, skills, and security-strengthening attitude, form the foundation of society's resilience. The willingness to participate and help is evident not only through organizations and volunteer activities, but also in the actions of family or community members as neighborly assistance in village communities, social media networks, various groups, and through individual preparedness by citizens. In addition to voluntary participation, individuals participate in ensuring society's resilience based on their civic duties. The national defense duty, compulsory education, and liability to pay taxes solidify our society in different ways. The actors in public administration, business community, and civil society form networks of comprehensive security that apply uniform principles and operate at different levels of society. Preparedness is based on the preparedness obligation laid down in the Emergency Powers Act, Rescue Act, and other legislation, agreements, and voluntary action. The concept of comprehensive security covers society as a whole. To enhance the consistency of security in a changing operational environment, it is also necessary to recognize how different cross-cutting security concepts are linked to comprehensive security. Cybersecurity, from a comprehensive security perspective, refers to implementing comprehensive security in the cyber domain. Total defense emphasizes defense capability as one of the vital functions of society and strengthening the capability through the collective resources of society. National security is emphasized in situations in which national sovereignty, freedom of action, or the living conditions of the population are under serious threat. Security of supply is an element of the foundation of comprehensive security and highlights preparedness by the business community. In addition to these, information security can also be mentioned. It means implementing it in the information environment. These form the foundation of resilience in Finnish society. In brief, the concept for comprehensive security can be seen as follows. Individuals are key security actors in society. They have a constitutional right to security, but also a responsibility to act within their abilities in a manner that enhances security and the sense of security in communities and society. Vital functions of society are functions that are essential for a functioning society and which are safeguarded through strategic tasks. This forms the foundation of resilience in Finnish society. Resilient society produces the experience of security. This is how we create a secure society, together,